This episode of Twin Speaks contains spoilers.
Hello and welcome to Twin Speaks First Watch, First Listen, a First Man starring Ryan Gosling, Claire Foy, Jason Clarke, Kyle Chandler, Corey Stoll, and Patrick Fugit, and many, many more. Directed by Damien Chazelle and written by Josh Singer, based on the James R. Hansen autobiography titled First Man, The Life of Neil A. Armstrong. What do you think the other A stands for?
It's double Armstrong.
It's Neil
Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
Do you actually want to guess? Because I don't think you'll get it. Have you looked at it?
No.
Yeah, I looked at it before
Arthur.
Arthur?
Yeah.
No.
Arnold.
No.
And
Those are both really good guesses.
I'm trying to think of like the age. Like he would have been born like.
Okay, here's a hint. There's
40s.
a really there's a name that came out in the last year that neither of us have pronounced correctly in a Hollywood movie.
What? I don't know. What? That's so vague.
I know.
That's every name.
What, do you want to guess?
Yeah. No. Tell me.
Alden.
Oh, lame.
I was kind of going
I
for
don't even
Alden
know.
Einrich.
That's not. Oh, okay.
Is that his name?
We pronounced that right. Alden Einrich.
Einrich.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
Heinrich, but like Einrich.
Okay. I'm your co-host, Pat. You can find me on Twitter at KidCombo. And I am, of course, joined by my twin brother and co-host. You can find him on social media at Andemonium. When we saw this movie in the theater earlier this week, we had to sit through about 45 minutes of two old birds narrating every scene.
It was long.
It's Andrew.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why I'm associated with that.
I needed
You
something
were the one
to tag
that you yelled at them
multiple times.
3 times.
Yeah.
And at one time you asked me to shush them.
Because they didn't listen to me, so I had
one did. The one next to you. So the one next to you did, and then the one next to her kept talking to her, and she would respond. And then when you finally, during the quietest time of the movie, where there was no music, there was no dialogue,
it was a part in the movie where
and you went, "You two have to stop talking." and she goes, "What? Sorry."
No, not even like in a sarcastic tone. It was literally her going, "Whoops, sorry."
Yeah, like.
But it was like the scene where
know.
it was like a scene where the fly is in the cockpit or in like the shuttle, and then the two of them go, "Oh, it's a fly."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh my god!"
They were narrating.
That was my breaking point.
Everything, like anything that came on screen, like if it was like a different, like they showed the what's her face Claire Foy was wearing like a different dress.
Yeah, right.
They'd be like, "Oh, that's an interesting dress."
Yeah, and
it was just like shit like that, like the entire fucking thing.
My favorite part was when they, when the first time they made it into space, or no, it was the second time because that's why I thought it was so funny. The second time they made it into space, and one of them just goes, "Man, I really hope that ship holds."
I love the idea that she did not realize this movie was an autobiography, that she was just like, there's this guy named First Man, and all of his friends call him Neil, and he's never been anywhere, and he'll never be anywhere.
NASA is a completely made up entity, like it doesn't exist on any other planet.
Old too, like they came in, they were like.
So
the one had to be 80. Like she has to be Neil Armstrong's age now.
Easily. I mean, Neil Armstrong died. Did you know that?
Who am I thinking of?
Neil
You're blowing my mind here. I didn't know he was dead. I feel kind of like an ass now.
I'm looking at
I saw those videos of. I think I'm thinking Buzz Aldrin. I feel like Buzz Aldrin's always in the news because he's fighting somebody.
He's still alive and he's kind of feisty.
Yeah.
I was just looking at like the recording and it's just this big blank spot of where you were pausing to think about who Neil Armstrong was.
I know who he is.
It was like whether or not he was dead. But the one lady, she ate through the entire thing. Like the older lady, she had a sandwich. She like brought in a full...
Yeah, I heard her go through
full size like tinfoil wrapped like hoagie and then ate it through the entire like previews into like 20, it like took her a while to polish it off. It was like 20 minutes into the movie. And then she ate, like, I think she had a bag of popcorn. She ate the popcorn and then, like, seductively, like, licked her fingers really slowly.
Yeah.
And I, like...
Meanwhile, I had the lady that came by herself that was there before us.
Yeah, right.
On my side. And she was the perfect movie.
Yeah.
She ate all of her stuff before the movie even started.
Yeah.
She then sat quietly through the entire... She did not say a thing. She could have...
Move.
She could have been asleep.
Yeah. I looked over at one point, and she was still in the same position as when the movie started. And I wasn't really sure if she was alive.
Yeah, she...
perhaps.
But the fact that she, like, mowed through all of her food, and she had, like, more than one thing. She had... She had, like... Not to, like... make people feel bad about what they eat in the movies, but like she really like tried to get through it, so she wasn't. Maybe she read that this movie was super quiet or something. I know that one part. She was great. So
shout out to her.
If like middle-aged old lady who came by herself to First Man with us, shout out to you.
But then like the lady that was sitting next to me, she at one point took a pack of dentine out of her.
That's what I remember hearing.
Yeah, and then she took and like popped every single piece of gum into her hand. So she like went through the dentine pack, went and like pushed out every single one into her hand. So she just had a pile of gum, and then she shoved the entire thing in her mouth. So all I heard was this like weird, like it kind of sounded like her teeth were breaking, like it was like that loud cracking sound. And then just all of a sudden I had like the wave of mint.
Yeah, I did that in middle school, and I put like a pack of gum in my mouth and started chewing it, and then I realized it like got real crunchy all of a sudden. And I pull it out, and it had a crown in it.
Oh yeah,
and it had pulled out one of my crowns. But and then like so I went to the dentist like recently, something in middle school, and like I went it's like past May or something, and I said that like he's like, oh, have you had any like major dental work? And I said, oh yeah, I had like a crown when I was like in middle school or something. He's like, no, you didn't. And I was like, yeah, it's not there. Like it came out when I ate a pack of gum. And he goes, no, you never had a crown.
What?
Yeah, he's like, I'm looking at your dental records. You've never had a crown.
What?
And I thought that I literally imagined. I thought this guy was telling me I was crazy. And I thought that I just imagined that I had done enough like that. I went through that much like effort to think that I had a crown put in, and then I got it taken out by eating a pack of gum. And then when he said this, I was like, well, no, like maybe I didn't. I don't know now. I feel like you would know. So
the guy who has all the records would be like,
no, you didn't. What else do you think you didn't have?
I remember that time he slipped on a boat in the bathtub. Yeah, that never happened either.
Yeah, he never had stitches.
Okay, should we get... Yeah, let's get into it. That was some good riffing? Yeah. Okay.
All of our good riffing never gets recorded, so...
Yeah, that's right. So far, so good. It's still intact, so... Yeah. Okay, do you want to get into the news? Did you hear... I don't know if you've seen all of this John Carpenter stuff, but I've been purposely not texting you about it so that I could tell you about it today. Like the stuff with... where there was like the first article, and it was like from a few days ago, and it was just said that the two most important things in his life are the NBA and video games.
How old is John Carpenter?
Oh God, he's probably like 78 or something, but he's got like the biggest white handlebar mustache, and it's just it goes from one side of his chin all the way to the other side of the chin, just framing his mouth. It's unbelievable. And then the second one, which came out like yesterday or something, and someone asked him if he was interested in like making another movie, basically, and he had said, "Yeah, I'll do anything for money," which is so funny. I mean, he's living out like he's the most normal man.
He kind of looks like
filmmaking so far.
He kind of looks like the dad from Orange County Choppers.
That's funny.
We're waiting.
I'm gonna leave all this in. So yeah, but it's kind of funny. Like he hasn't. I think that he did the soundtrack for the new Halloween.
Yeah,
and it's like released through Sacred Bones, so you can actually get like the vinyl for it because there's like
that's cool.
A person that I follow on Twitter. Shout out Sarah. Who has like the vinyl and it's insane. The cover for it's really cool. It's just like a really close up of his mask.
Oh, that's neat.
I'm really excited for that movie. Actually, side note.
Oh.
You don't want to see it?
I didn't say it.
You just went. Oh.
I'm just. You could have said. You made a comment.
Me too.
I haven't really put like a lot of thought into it though.
Oh really?
Well, I haven't seen any of them.
First one?
I haven't seen any of them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I have like no tie to this at all.
Well, yeah,
my only interest stems from the fact that Danny McBride wrote it.
Yeah, and Jamie Lee Curtis is back in it.
Yeah, but so this is my thing is that like I've seen her in Scream Queens.
Yeah, right.
And I don't think she's that good of an actress.
Hot take. Yeah. Some sizzle.
I don't think she's done like what else has she done that's like
Freaky Friday.
So that's your defense. She did Freaky Friday.
Yeah, she was great in that. Who's the little kid
she's
in that?
Not though, but she's not good in that either.
I was mostly being facetious, but who's the little kid in Freaky Friday? Do you remember that kid? Whatever happened to him?
Lindsay Lohan?
No, not Lindsay Lohan.
I don't know. I don't remember what the other kid.
The Freaky to the Friday. She's freaky.
I don't know.
She's Friday.
I don't know what the kid looks like.
Yeah. Oh, really? He was like the
You're
classic.
This movie came out what, like 15 years ago now?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I think it probably was that long.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm excited for it.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and wrangle all of us into going to it.
I'll go to it. Like
we should get you to watch the first one together.
Okay.
George, have you seen the first Halloween?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just get a little shy.
I'm not supposed to be in this episode.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like. I'll see it, but like,
original news point was the John Carpenter thing about him being cool. He's got
just a normal dude who loves
video games in the NBA,
but not at the same time.
Yeah, I wonder if he plays like what's the NBA game?
Yeah, I think it's called NBA game.
NBA 2K?
No, that doesn't sound right.
I feel like that's a game.
No.
Oh, okay.
I think they're past 2K by now.
3K. Okay, let's move on. Some big news in terms of the James Gunn saga. He has been attached to the new Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Aptly titled Suicide Squad 2. But he's set to... It says direct and write and possibly direct.
Oh, that's interesting. I saw an article that said that he's doing both.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It might have been the same article. I just didn't read it. I only just looked at the headline.
When this got announced...
Yeah, right.
It felt like nobody cared. Like, it did. It felt like when he got fired, there was, like, a big deal. And then they were like, oh, he needs to, like, get reinstated by Disney. And then they said no. And, like, Bob Iger was like, no. And then...
Well, yeah.
And then he gets hired, and the people that were upset... Or people that were happy that he got fired for what he was saying.
Yeah.
Or seem awfully quiet about like this.
It's
like that's what's so confusing is that like
the whole thing
I don't know how to feel.
Pretty bizarre because
somebody tell me how to feel.
Because the one thing too is like it is a bit weird that he's seemingly he's been the thing is too is like he's not attached to the second or the third volume 3 of Guardians of the Galaxy.
He's writing it. They're using his script.
They're using his script. Okay. So that means that he either A, hasn't been fired from Disney/Marvel.
He has, though.
He has been fired.
Yeah, so like I read an interview with Bob Iger.
Right.
He said that like his quote was that like the board or whatever of his executives came to him and said they wanted to fire him. It was like it was unanimous, and he said
interesting.
Like he said he would do it. It was so like it was very like high level executive. Like he was very careful with his words, saying not that he was agreeing or disagreeing with it, but he just did what they asked him to do. The
big wigs that are like,
So he's not doing that. And I feel like that's what's so weird about all of this is that like there was no backlash to him getting hired by DC. So either people are just like don't give a shit that he said some of that weird stuff that he did, or that they realize that maybe it's just all out of context, or maybe they realize that he's not like that, or maybe
if they just went along with his like apology and they were like, maybe it's good enough for me.
Maybe like I don't know. That's what's so weird about this is that like there just seems to be no reaction to this at all.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how to feel about it. Like I think that's cool that from a filmmaker, like if you separate the art by the
the art, that is
art from the artist.
Beer.
That is more head than beer. Thank you.
Thanks for the refill.
If you like separate the art from the artist, I'm excited because I think that's a fresh set of eyes, and he does have a good cast outside of.
Well, God, man.
Apparently, he doesn't get along with Jared Leto. I heard that in a podcast today. That because Jared Leto's kind of sketchy about younger females. And that's what I thought was so weird. I'm like, why? You think he doesn't like him because of that, but he's willing to make those jokes? Whatever.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, maybe that's the DC thing because like there's all that stuff with like Ben Affleck and like his kind of sketchy past. There's like a couple some stuff came out about him, and then there's like the Jared Leto stuff, and I don't know. It's just weird.
Anyways, I don't know. That I think if you separate the two and not. Saying like,
this, exactly.
That's great.
This could be like
I think that's a good hire.
Maybe the best decision that they've made in the last I don't know, 5-10 years or something. Like James Gunn is clearly a good writer, clearly a good director.
Yep.
So bringing him into like the DC sort of culture is easily the best thing that they could do. But yeah, you're right. Like, where do we draw the line with? Well, he still did all that stuff. Like, are they just like being like, like fuck it, whatever?
Did he do that stuff? And not that like we're an investigative team, but like, did he do that stuff, or did he just like make those jokes?
Yeah,
right. Like, we'll never know. No. We'll never know.
And to be honest, like you and I looking at it, going like, oh yeah, this is like every
some of
Xbox
it's weird
kid.
Like some of it's just universe. Like dumb, immature stuff where like.
But coming from him being an adult is the weird thing. That's the weird thing.
In the last 9 years.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Oscar Isaac is taking a year off from acting after Star Wars Episode 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's passing on everything.
That's a lot. And like, having said that though, that's kind of... Well, somebody else did that though. Okay,
so I was just going to say, I read one of the comments on this one thread, and it said that Ryan Gosling, before he did this, all the the last it must be like 8 years of movies or something like that, he had done the same thing. So he had taken a break and went, like all these movies are pretty rom-com-y kind of stuff, and then he got into like the very serious roles and sort of being like a dramatic actor.
He's like more known for now, like
exactly.
It's Beyond the Pines, Nice Guys, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So maybe he's
Blue Valentine, Drive,
but he's not in a position like that.
No, and
he's in a like a post Notebook Ryan Gosling position where he is getting offered a lot of this stuff. Maybe he doesn't want to do the action movie stuff anymore. Maybe he wants to do more inside Llewyn Davis type stuff.
Maybe, yeah. That would make sense.
Like, I can see that. But I think this is more of just, like, fatigue.
So I just looked it up. Ryan Gosling went from Lars and the Real Girl in 2007. And pretty much everything before that was pretty, like, rom-com-y kind of stuff. And then he took a big break. It wasn't even... year. Well, I mean, it could have been a year.
Could have been a year, and then
and then the movie comes out. Yeah, the next movie came out in 2010, and it was Blue Valentine.
Yeah,
which is an insanely depressing movie, but also really, I mean, it's amazing. But then he was like in All Good Things, Crazy Stupid Love, Drive, The Place Beyond the Pines, Gangster Squad, which I think we watched together, Only God Forgives. Like, and then he was just in like an insane amount of good movies. So maybe Oscar Isaacs is sort of going like, but yeah, you're right. Like,
I think it's less than just him getting burnt out from like
totally
Star Wars.
Yeah, and it's hard not to like look at every other actor that's ever been in Star Wars and just have them say the exact same thing too.
Yeah.
Like you gotta imagine that being in that circle all the time is exhausting.
Yeah.
So maybe you're right. Maybe it is just the Star Wars stuff, and he's going like, "Fuck, I need a break. Like this is too much," or maybe he's just going like, "I need to reset and maybe start choosing some."
Yeah, I think it's
better
more
projects.
Probably that.
Because like I can't outside of what's it called?
Inside Llewyn Davis.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in Ex Machina?
Yeah. Outside those two, then I guess he was in what's it called? The new Gardner one.
What?
What's it called? What's the one that we all saw together with the zombie bear? God, Annihilation.
Oh yeah.
He was in that. He was like the guy, but I don't know if that really counts. Anyway, apart from that, he's pretty much. I only really remember him from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right?
It's because it's like all he's done in the past.
Pretty much.
It lasts a little while. I'm just looking it up right now because I'm curious. Like I think you're right. Like I don't think it's a lot. I feel like it's what the Mullen.
But apart from that, moving on. Just before you like pull that up, we got that new Hellboy poster.
Yeah.
And Hellboy,
insanely huge.
Yeah, it's like the massive sort of like with all the characters on it, and which is cool because apparently I didn't realize
he's in the new. Who's the artist that Vincent Van Gogh movie with Willem Dafoe?
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah,
cool.
that's cool.
I'm interested in that movie.
Yeah, he's in Suburbicon.
Oh yeah, that really messy. Who was the one that directed that? That
was Apocalypse too. Like some of these I'm looking at, he's going like these are a couple of hits, these are a couple of misses.
Yeah. Well, I'd say Apocalypse is.
So I feel like it's just like a, yeah. Anyways.
Anyway, yeah. So maybe he's doing that. So I was saying the Hellboy poster that got revealed is really cool. It shows like a lot of the characters, like the Pigman. There's a couple other ones there.
Yeah.
Him with like really long hair, which is cool. Like out of the samurai bun that he usually has. I was reading this one article that said that the writer and creator and illustrator Mike Magnolia, he co-wrote the script.
That makes sense.
Which is
why
cool.
Not?
What's that?
I said why not? Like he's the creator of that character.
Yeah, right.
And like he's still alive making stuff, so like why wouldn't they include him?
Well, and the one thing, the quote that he said, he's like, "Oh, thank God they like included me because there's an overwhelming amount of like stuff to choose from."
Yeah.
Because like in the one quote said that they're like going right from the middle, so like already existing universe and just going right from there.
I feel like you have to.
Yeah.
People know this is like with Spider-Man. Like when Spider-Man, like you don't have to do the bloated origin story. You can just get right into it. It's the same with Batman. Like they should be.
I'm so tired
just
of origin
jumping
stories.
into it. Like you could do quick flashbacks. Like with Dawn of Justice, they did the title sequence.
Yeah,
it's
right.
okay. Like that takes what 5 minutes, maybe at the most.
That was probably the best way to do it.
Like
hey, remember when this happened?
Quick.
And you're like,
it's kind of like,
right.
Yeah, people moan and complain about it, but at the same time, like that's better than. I think it's better than doing like putting like 15, 25 minutes of it, making it the first
unnecessary amount of information. Yeah.
So I think it's good. I'm excited for that, and some people know the origin of Hellboy.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's.
I feel like his character is pretty self-explanatory. He lives in like a our world like kind of thing.
Origin of.
Well, he gets summoned, right? Like he's like a demon baby, and then he gets summoned from hell.
You gone?
That's all I got.
Okay. So
by Nazis. That was the other part.
Yeah. So the Nazis. So Rasputin.
Yeah, right.
Rasputin summons him. Summons the like hand of the apocalypse.
Yeah, right.
And in the comics, they summon him, and instead of showing up in front of all the Nazis and all the SS and all like the secret Nazis,
yeah,
he doesn't show up at all. But Rasputin's like, no, he's coming. Like, you wait. Like, he's coming. He's here. But meanwhile, he shows up in front of the Americans.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Who are stalking the Nazis, and then they adopt him, and then that's how like he becomes.
And then he
because
becomes
he joins
part of that
the
team.
BPRD.
Yeah, right.
I just love the fact that Rasputin's in it.
Well, I'm excited for that movie. It comes out in April 2019, and
we're gonna get in the trailer soon. But I guess
pretty soon,
it's the same with Avengers. I guess when we get the Avengers trailer, we
probably because they said at the New York Comic Con
they showed something.
Well, they showed footage. They said they didn't have a trailer, which makes me think that they just like had shown them
stuff that was maybe finished.
Yeah, stuff that they had finished editing. You know, they had done all the sound, they had done all the CGI, and they're like, okay, we're done this part. Let's show that.
Yeah.
Which I mean, like, if it is sort of like this big, I mean, the poster makes it look just huge.
Yeah, it does.
So,
it seems like a lot.
Assuming that it's sort of a grander scale and less practical stuff is like
nervous though.
Yeah, less practical stuff than like the other Guillermo del Toro ones. Then that makes me think that like it's gonna take a while to sort of get all this stuff.
I don't know if it is though. Like in that podcast with him and Dax Shepard, like what's his face?
Yeah, right.
What's his head? What's his name?
Starts with a D. I'll let you get this one.
The guy who plays Hellboy?
Yeah. You'll get there.
Starts with a D?
Starts with
David
a D.
Harbour.
Yeah, there you go.
I was like, no, it doesn't.
We did it. We got
one. He was talking about how like it's not.
He said it was horror-y.
But the way that he was describing like his suit and him riding a horse and stuff like that. Did you say horror-y?
Horror-y.
Yeah, I know.
Is the quote that I read by him. He went horror-y. Yeah, it sounds like horror-y.
Horror-y. He makes it sound like he's got like the actual practical tail and hand and everything like that, which is very cool. So like, if it's a mix,
which would be great.
Like if it's like a Star Wars type thing, that's awesome.
That's fine. Okay, moving on. What should we talk about next? Scarlett Johansson lands a $15 million payday for the new Black Widow movie.
This movie is so weird because like I don't. Now they're saying that she's getting $15 million for it, but like it felt like they never formally announced it. They were just like,
well, and then I tried to look up
happening.
Stuff.
Yeah,
and there was no information on it.
Yeah, this is weird.
So they're just like, it's.
I'm assuming it's happening. Yeah, like I know they have a director or writer. It's one of the two or both.
I couldn't find any.
Weird. That's cool. I'm excited for that. They could do literally anything with that.
Yeah, totally.
Because she has little to zero backstory in the MCU.
They just sort of dropped her in.
They dropped her in. Like, I was watching Iron Man 2. And
there's like those random flashbacks from
Avengers, like Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron, yeah right.
But she's in Iron Man 2 as like an assistant. And it's really like funny looking, watching it now. And like, she was not a good actor.
Oh, really?
I didn't think she was. And also the guy who plays Whiplash.
Yeah, right.
I can't remember his name. It's Mickey Rourke? No. That's not it.
Mickey Rourke, the wrestler?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about Till, whatever his name is? Something Miles Tiller?
It's not Miles. It's Mickey Rourke.
From Whiplash?
He plays Whiplash.
Oh, in the movie, not movie.
No.
Not Whiplash, the movie.
No. Yeah, he's in it, and he's terrible. He has an okay Russian accent. I don't know. I don't speak Russian, but newsflash. Stop looking over there.
Well, she keeps distracting me.
Yeah, I know she is. He just like every time I say something like that, he like glances at you.
Well, she was holding a carrot and she was pretending to hump the carrot.
No, I was pretending the carrot was my penis.
As all people do.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
Mickey Rourke's in that and he's terrible.
Yeah, I remember him being really.
But she is too, and she's not great in it. But
Yeah.
then she gets into being like Black Widow, and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. Because she is a good Black Widow.
I think so.
I really like.
I haven't read a
Scarlett Johansson.
lot of. Yeah.
Ryan Coogler signs on to write and direct the new
This
Black
is maybe
Panther
the
sequel.
Best news.
Yeah.
That they have the same guy continuing it.
They're like, oh, remember that movie that really killed?
So he did Creed, right?
Yeah.
He's not doing Creed 2.
Yeah, which is fine.
Sylvester Stallone wrote the screenplay and then some other guy was directing.
That's okay. Like, Creed was really good, and he probably went, like, I'm good with that.
Yeah, he's
like,
probably working on other stuff. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good. That's really cool. So I don't like. I was trying to think of this before. They killed off two of the biggest villains that Black Panther has.
Yeah, who the hell is going to be in it?
I don't know.
Unless you
maybe they bring them back in Avengers,
yeah.
after Infinity War or whatever.
Unless they do sort of like other bigger ones, so they connect it more to like the
It'd be
rest of the
sweet
MCU.
if they did like the Illuminati or something. That'd be awesome.
Oh, that would be really cool. I'd be really into that.
Because now that they have all these characters,
yeah, right.
Why not?
Everything's expendable now.
Yeah.
Was that this week or last week that we got that Aquaman, that weird Aquaman
it was
feature
like
thing?
It was like beginning or end of last week because it was New York Comic Con.
Yeah, right. Okay.
That was great. Cool. It looks really cool. I was so like not sold on this movie, and then there's that chase scene on the rooftops, and I was like, this looks cool.
I remember when the first two trailers came out, you and I both went, yeah.
I didn't like it. I didn't understand the hype.
I really thought the cool like animals and stuff that they had
in
that
the
stuff
trailer. Was cool.
I thought that was cool. I thought Patrick Wilson looked kind of neat.
Yeah.
He looked really big and like kind of buff. But then like the rest of it, I was like, I don't know what tone this is going for. I think that was the one thing we had complained about.
So this one felt more like it has the tone.
It felt very linear.
It feels like Spider-Man.
Yeah, right.
Where there's jokes, but it does have like a serious tone
and it has
more
a storyline
tone to it.
It's not just a way to have jokes. They actually have somewhere to build up.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was cool. It sold me more on that movie.
The action scenes were pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting. I think that's going to be the one where it comes out and it's going to be maybe a little divided because people maybe won't understand that it's supposed to be kind of a little corny. I
feel like they wouldn't have released a 5.5 minute featurette.
It was 7 minutes.
I don't think it was that long.
Yeah. I remember looking at it being like, this is a long trailer, and then realizing it wasn't a trailer.
I don't think they would release a trailer that long if they were worried about it.
Yeah, if they didn't have confidence in it.
If they had 7 minutes of footage
yeah.
of almost every scene of the movie, and then just show it off in New York Comic Con and go like, hey, look. Like, if they were worried about it, they wouldn't do that. They would keep it 2 minutes.
Be like a
bare
minute
minimum.
And a half.
Yeah.
Of like, what's his face making a funny joke or something.
Yeah, so this seems like a lot to show off, so which means maybe they're proud of it, so that's good. But DC also does not, DC Films at least, Warner Brothers, does not have a great track record with like judgment on that stuff.
Yeah, totally.
So, I don't know. Wait and see type thing.
It'll be interesting when the reviews start coming out, what people actually think of it. I think it'll be pretty mixed. But I'm excited for it. That featurette made me more on board.
Yeah.
Okay, so next is... I mean, we don't have to do all of these, but I think the next one would be Joji... Fukunaga.
Yeah.
I almost really messed that up. Signs on to direct the new Daniel Craig James Bond movie, which has been now pushed. It was going to come out next year, but now it's going to come out in 2 years on February 14th, 2020.
Yeah, wow.
Which is really far away.
Yeah, it is.
But it's pretty cool that guy's directing it because he is the director of the season 1 of True Detective and the new Maniac series that's on Netflix.
Yeah, that's cool.
So they definitely chose a really great director.
Yeah, they're going for something specific.
Oh, yeah. And I think it's going to be more crime than probably.
Which would be cool.
Yeah, a little less actiony, like with what you get with past.
Well, if what's
directors.
his face, the guy who, like not good with names.
I read this thing that said that he's the first American director for James Bond, right. Which I'm not really sure if that's true or not. I guess like the past decade of Daniel Craig has all been English guys. Because Spectre, that was what's his face, who did like Jarhead and stuff, and he's English.
Sorry, I'm looking up this is gonna drive me nuts if I can't remember what it is, but the one that Charlie Hunnam was in.
Yeah, right. It's kind of interesting that this is set for, like, they've moved it back an entire year.
Yeah,
which makes me think that
which
the
means
entire
they're not even
thing's a
doing
bit
production till like mid next year.
Oh yeah, like they don't have a like a script probably yet.
Guy Ritchie, that's
Guy Ritchie, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of weird. It makes me think that it's a bit of a mess. Like they're
maybe
really sorting
maybe
it
this
out.
is the reset button.
Oh, maybe yeah.
Which is, I mean, good direction to go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Viggo Mortensen has a new movie coming out. He's going to be actually directing and playing two of the main characters. I kind of want to just skip that. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 production push.
Hold on. The trailer that he is in.
Yeah, right.
I forgot what
that
it's
Play
called,
Before
like,
First Man looked really, really good.
His accent was good.
Well, and I kept thinking, like, if this wasn't these two actors and the pretty much everything about the like direction and cinematography and like the script, it would have been so corny because the entire idea of the movie is sort of cheesy and a little bit like basic.
Yeah, I thought looking back now, like I think that trailer, like the color schemes and stuff like that, are so overplayed out in that era, and I get it, but. Yeah, like it's not like I think they are the reason to that, but he picks so many good things too. So like,
oh yeah, I don't know if Viggo Mortensen has really been in a bad movie,
but he's been really picky over the past couple of years.
Yeah, he kind of shows up every once in a while, and you're like, oh yeah, right, Viggo Mortensen exists. I was just trying to look up what that movie was called. Oh, Green Book.
Yeah,
right.
It was something book. I couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah, so it's him and oh god, Mahershala Ali. I actually think I nailed that. Mahershala Ali. The guy from
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
That's pretty good. But the guy from Moonlight, who was yeah. So
Moonlight,
the two of them, he's like the bodyguard of this pianist, and they're like traveling through the deep south, and
it looks cool.
It looks really good, and I was kind of impressed. Like the trailer looked great. I think I saw a little too much. Like it
definitely goes through
like,
literally.
I feel like I saw
it goes through like all acts.
Yeah,
like it just literally goes through everything.
Kind of mixed them up a little bit, but like I mean, it looks good, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, the point I was trying to get to there was that Viggo Mortensen has a movie coming out. He's going to be directing for the first time, and he wrote the script. Cool. It's called Falling.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get to the Vice trailer. So there's a movie called Vice coming out, starring Christian Bale as Dick Cheney and Sam Rockwell as George W. Bush. When I was writing this down, I wrote W. I didn't write like the W. And then it's written, directed by Adam McKay. So his last movie was what? The Big Short, probably, right? Which you and I saw. And together,
that one,
and really didn't know if we liked it or not.
That one took me a while to like. I think that movie, like.
Well, I remember
at first
2
you're
weeks
going
later,
like,
you
"This is
me.
Great," but at the time you're going like, "Is this too much?"
Oh, it is too much.
They just like really pile it on, and with the amount of like big names, like how do they get such a budget?
I don't know
for. Like that type of movie. And
what's
crazy the same.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Sam Rockwell won Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah. Amy Adams is in this movie. Steve Carell's in this movie.
Like, this is an expensive movie.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm hoping that this one seems less like that. That one had to play to a certain crowd that didn't know anything about what was going on.
The Big Short was pretty self-indulgent.
Yes.
With, like, the weird, like, breaking the fourth wall thing. Yeah. You know, like the weird, funny narrations.
Some of it was done well, some of it wasn't.
Timelines. Yeah. Like, it was a very self-indulgent movie. This seems a little bit more straightforward. Like it seems like it's.
But again, it's the first trailer, and it's hard to tell.
It is really hard to tell. All it seemed like was that it was very well acted.
Yep.
Sam Rockwell kills it.
Oh my god.
Christian Bale kills it. Like
you don't realize
it's really good.
It's Christian Bale at first.
Oh yeah, you go through the entire trailer and go like, who the hell is that?
Sam Rockwell is George W. Bush.
Yeah.
It's the accent that he does in 3 Billboards, and then he does in this with that like Southern twang to it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. So what do you think?
Anyway, that comes out I think next year.
It was interesting that they show Amy Adams? I don't even remember seeing her in it.
Briefly. They show it says starring Amy Adams, and then it just shows her as like Dick Cheney's wife.
And then Steve Carell, they only ever show him. They never show him talking.
Barely show him.
Also, that
barely. The other Steve Carell movie I know you were going to say that played before
Megtown or
looks
something
fucking awful.
It does. It doesn't look good.
Oh,
he doesn't look good. I don't know if they just picked like bad edits in that trailer, but it didn't seem like the scene where I forgot what her name is, but she's helping him through like his physical therapy. Yeah, right. And the two of their interactions is really fucking weird. Yeah. There's Monet all of his lines are really weirdly delivered. And I get it. Maybe he's had a brain injury, but like, I don't know. There's something about it. I don't like how it looks. I don't like how it's shot. Like, I don't like anything about it.
And they were like, from the director of Forrest Gump. I was like, fuck, man. What is that guy doing?
Ages ago.
Yeah.
Is this what he's been working on for 30 years or something?
This looks awful.
Yeah.
It looks really bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then last piece of news there, we got an Aladdin. A teaser trailer.
This is if you were to like textbook dictionary definition of a teaser trailer. This horseshit.
Except I don't have any interest in. I'm like,
this didn't sell me on it at all. I was like, the only reason I was interested in this is that like the live action versions of these movies are so weird and like. They really are like
a very specific
they're
audience.
well done because they're Disney and it's paint by numbers because they have a scientific method of doing it.
Yeah.
But
everybody knows that too.
This didn't interest me in one bit. It didn't show the genie. I just want to know because he's going to be in Blueface. Like is Will Smith going to look like Tobias?
Oh, it's Will Smith?
That plays a genie, yeah.
Fuck, I didn't know that. I actually didn't realize that.
That's one of the things I was also listening to this on another podcast. Is that like
Tobias? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Is he gonna blue himself? But yeah, like is he gonna do all the? Are they gonna CGI him?
I don't know.
But it's weird, and I don't know. This didn't make me like any more interested.
I kind of have zero interest in seeing it and that's the thing. Like I know we're not the audience. Yeah. It's not directed at us. But as someone who grew up with Aladdin when it came out, like I have very fond memories of watching the cartoon animated Aladdin. I feel like we should have been directed at some of that, right? Like I feel like the Lion King reboot that's coming out with like Donald Glover and Seth Rogen. That's more directed at us than this one.
Yeah, I saw that behind the scenes. Picture.
That
was cool. That looks like more like. Well, I think I just more into those actors.
Yeah, right. I mean, this one, whatever. Yeah. I didn't even realize Will Smith was the genie. That's funny.
First Man.
That's it for news. So, spoiler alert. First Man. So, Andrew, what?
I don't know how I feel about this movie.
Okay, sure.
I thought it was really boring. I thought for the cool in ship, in plane, in whatever aircraft they were in parts was amazing. And it really did like draw you in and like really feel like you were in it. It's stressful. It's anxiety. Like it just the way that it's done does make it feel like you're in whatever ship that they're in. But it's the time between these scenes that I'm like, this sucks. This is boring. This isn't well written. Yeah. This is dry. Like, I don't know if Ryan Gosling's a good actor in this movie. Like, I don't. And, like, I don't know if anybody is.
Claire Foy.
But that's what I was about to say, is that, like, she's really good in it, but is she good because it's in comparison to everybody else?
Yeah.
Or was she given direction and then everybody else kind of just, like, didn't hit it? You know? Like, did she, do what she was supposed to do? So, like, she's amazing in this movie, and she really does steal it for me. Like,
yeah,
her and what's his face, Eddie.
Yep.
What's his name?
Yeah, I'm looking at his name right now.
So bad with names.
Keep talking.
Are good in it, but there's a lot of characters
Jason
that aren't.
Clarke.
Jason Clarke, yeah.
He was really good.
But there's a lot of other characters that you're just going like, I get that you're here for a reason because it's part of this like autobiography, but at the same time I'm going, this didn't contribute anything to me. Like, this didn't like make me more excited about it. Like, all of the scenes that Kyle Chandler was in was just like so boring. He was just there to move the plot forward, but like in the most boring way.
In the most mundane way possible.
At first I was like, okay, this is funny when he's drawing on the chalkboard
he's
distance.
Like, to scale. And then he goes,
he's like,
mostly to scale.
I was like,
everybody else could have delivered that better.
Oh, I actually didn't think that was that bad.
I was like...
Because I thought that...
You had the T-ball.
I thought that... No. I thought that the way that they were setting that up, I was like, okay, like, if he's going to be like this the entire rest of the movie, great.
Cool.
But then they make his role, they, like, share it between 4 characters. So he never really, like, has any purpose. And it's the same with Ryan Gosling and... I'm looking at like Christopher Abbott, who plays I think Dave, the one that dies, and Jason Clarke, and like Corey all of these guys who, and then there's Gus, like Shea Wiggum. Like, all of these guys are so interesting on their own, and you want to know more about them, but based on just how the movie is, like, you never know anything else. And even with Neil Armstrong, you don't really get a lot. And, like, I know that's part of, like, the air about him. Like, he is a little bit mysterious because you don't really get a lot. But it just didn't do anything for me.
Yeah, right. Okay. I do agree with a lot of your points. Because I do think that, like, Kyle Chandler was... And I think a lot of you and I both really love Kyle Chandler. I think he's a really, really good actor. And I think he's super underrated.
Yeah.
But he just felt like it was like his direction was, okay, I need you to be as boring and as mundane as possible.
Yeah, like as if no personality and you're just caring about the
he had every personality quality drained from him. He had nothing going on. And I felt like anytime he was on screen, I just went, oh, fuck, like, hurry up. Like, get off, say what you have to say and move on because I am so tired of looking at you and hearing you talk. Yeah. Because, like, he just had nothing. He would be like, okay, we've moved you to Gemini 4 or 5 or whatever. And they're like...
And that's like Ryan Gosling big deal. Goes, cool. Yeah, and you... Like, I get that even for Ryan Gosling's character, like, that's just... Maybe that's just how he acted. So, like, he's doing an impersonation and all these other guys are doing impersonations.
Which I do... And I had
to... The dialogue that they have was the thing that kind of, like...
I had to actually look up what Neil Armstrong was like to appreciate what Ryan Gosling did, because watching that I was like, I really don't understand like what he's going for, because he was kind of like reclusive. He seemed to love his family, but at the same time never want to be around them, you know. But like, so there's like the scenes where he's playing with his kids and stuff.
Scene.
And then he comes home and he like takes a glass of like iced tea or something out of the fucking fridge, and he goes, "Oh, I gotta go."
Yeah, I forgot.
And then leaves. And I'm like, "What the hell?" Like, I thought he seemed to really like being around his family, and his family seemed to be the only thing that motivated him to
do this,
to do anything. That was like his pure motivation. Like, we saw that with his daughter, you know, when he puts the thing into the crater and the moon. Yeah. But then he seemed to almost despise them in a way. And I was really confused about what the point of that was.
When he was like talking to the kids about maybe not coming back, and the one kid goes, like, there's also a chance you don't come back, and he goes,
and he starts doing,
he kind of like rolls his eyes almost, and like I didn't get that, like, I don't know. It was that part that like I didn't enjoy,
and I do get what you're saying about maybe this wasn't like his best.
I don't
role,
think it is,
but maybe that's just like and I don't really want to like do the thing where it's like, no, I love Ryan Gosling, so obviously he did a great job, but like I just don't really think I understand what he was going for, because it seemed to be a pretty big wave about it wasn't
consistent.
Like, the only consistent thing was that he is very smart and very reliable, and people on the NASA team seemed to really like him, and anytime he was with the NASA people, that was like the most consistent that he was. His personality.
Yes and no, though. Like sometimes he was like stoic, and then when he was at the White House, he was like chatty, and I was going like, this doesn't seem to fit his character.
When he would tell off, the only time you ever saw him like show his authority
was to Buzz
Aldrin.
Twice.
Corey Stoll, twice. Yeah. And you were like, oh, like all these guys are saying this, Buzz Aldrin doesn't seem to care. And then Neil Armstrong says something to him, and he goes, okay, maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Like, he seemed to respect Neil Armstrong, but there was no reason for us to go like, oh, yeah, he's the guy that we should be listening to.
Yeah, exactly.
It was more like, he seemed like he was, like, he seemed like he was in, like, the middle trying to claw his way up. Like, there was no sort of authority that made me think, like, oh, yeah, no, he's the top guy.
Yeah.
Everybody else respects him, thinks he's the leader or something.
And so, like, outside of, like, portrayals of characters or whoever, I actually thought the movie was well shot.
Yep. Okay.
It was a really cool looking movie, and there's a lot of scenes that are really, really neat. And, like, the way that it's done, and, like, after kind of sitting on this movie, the soundtrack itself is good. I would say it's really good.
I really liked it, yeah.
I think that maybe they could have been more specific with where they chose to put silence, because like I said to you and I said to Jill when I got home, is that it starts to lose its like novelty.
Sure, yeah. Because
there's so much silence in it, and it's great because it does like lend to the movie, but then like when they do like the music or whatever, the two of them kind of like lose like why they're cool, why it's interesting.
Sure, yeah.
Like, when they do finally get to space and it's silence, you're like, well, it's been silent the entire movie.
Yeah, right.
If they had saved that,
and they went music,
and then nothing,
got to space,
it would have been
silence.
It would have been so jarring and so like impactful that I think that would have been way better.
Well, because I think that would have been more, probably would have been better suited to actually how they would have been going to space, because like they're hearing all the noise of like the entire shuttle just shaking around, and then they get into space, and then it's silence because like they've made it through the atmosphere. There is no friction. There's nothing preventing them from being there. So I agree. Like, I think the music was great, and anytime I heard the music, I was like, oh, this is actually really good.
Yeah.
But then I just felt like, yeah, you're right. Like, the silence was overplayed a little bit. And I kept thinking, oh, I wonder what they're going to do for like the first step for man or whatever.
So it sounded like they reused.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. I thought they actually, because there's parts where I was like, that's not his inflection. Like all of a sudden he just sounds more energetic or something. Yeah. It didn't sound like Ryan Gosling there.
I think they can get away with it because he's shielded by like the sun shade or whatever it is.
Yeah, so
they must have used like oil.
I think it was, yeah.
Because even the way it's all staticky too, it sounds, and like as much as they could do that, it did sound more genuine.
Yeah, it did.
So that's kind of neat. I did appreciate that. That was kind of cool.
I actually really like that because it kind of took me a moment being like, oh, I don't think that's actually him talking, and then it sort of goes on. And you're like, no, that's like a different inflection. Like it's sort of, you can sort of tell in the dialogue that, oh yeah, no, that's not him. So I thought that was interesting, and I actually really, really liked that they had fit that in because it seemed pretty seamless. It wasn't like, oh, that's definitely not him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did like that, and I think we've talked about a lot of like the I don't know, production, I guess, of the movie instead. But in terms of like the story, was there
I don't know.
a story like
obviously there is. There's an end goal.
Yeah.
Like I would say that the whole movie is pushing towards going to the moon, and it shows all the stuff you do along the way, or that he did along the way.
And there's like okay, first, and I mean this is the thing, like Kyle Chandler's character, like he literally tells you what the goals are.
Yeah, he goes, like, you're going to be on Gemini 4.
We got to do these two things, and you're like, okay.
So it's following that. Yeah, it just follows that, and like that's maybe why I was so bored. Is it because like it was so like cookie cutter?
Yeah,
that's why I don't like these. I don't know if I don't like them, but like some of them are not done super well. Like it's so well known that he went to the moon, and that it's like pretty public knowledge that all this other stuff happened.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's not surprising when it happens in a movie, you know? Like there's nothing in between that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
And like, that's why it gets so dry. When you sit down
and when Ryan Gosling's character goes like, you know, Gemini Project, and you're like, yeah, I know, like he went to the moon.
Yeah.
Like I know what the conclusion is.
Yeah, exactly.
So everything else has to be interesting to keep me involved. Yes,
exactly.
In the movie.
So like,
but I feel like it didn't do
everything in between has to be better.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like it's not a bad movie. It's not the best movie. Like I would say that like
I just looked at the Rotten Tomatoes.
It's like 85%, but the audience 88%. Score. Yeah, the audience score. So I could see that. Like I was looking at some of those reviews, and a lot of the reviews are like,
"That's
the in-ship stuff is amazing. The other stuff not so great."
Yeah, audience score is 61%.
Still pretty high though.
It's still pretty high. That's not nearly as high as almost 90%.
Yeah, but they're rated differently.
So I know, but it's still.
Yeah.
It's still.
So yeah, I don't know.
But
I think like if we're wrapping this up, I would say, I don't know. Like I think 6 or 7 out of 10.
Okay, no,
because
what was that?
7, right?
Yeah, there you go.
I
was like, I don't think we nailed. I don't think we rated the last movie.
5's too high. 4, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. 4 out of 7.
Yeah.
That seems pretty right.
It's good. It's not great. It's not the worst movie. Like I think a lot of the stuff that makes it somewhat redeemable is the space and
the technical stuff.
The technical stuff. The stuff where they're in the ship, not the interpersonal stuff.
Yeah.
For me, that's what makes it okay.
I will say I really like Claire Foy. I know you weren't like...
Yeah. No, I loved her. She was great.
I thought she was easily the best part of the movie.
She was.
Anytime she was on screen, I was totally...
Yeah.
Like captivated, drawn to her. Like it was just, she did such an amazing job. And I thought
Jason Clarke
was great,
especially considering
he's Australian
love him
too. He's a great actor.
He's an Aussie and he does like a perfect.
He's honestly fantastic, and I'll watch anything that he's in.
He's great.
His buddy, which I can't remember his name, the guy kind of with the big ears from the beginning, like when Ryan Gosling, Neil Armstrong, is getting interviewed, or right before he goes in an interview, he like meets that other guy. Is his name Gene? That's not right.
I can't remember.
He's the guy that dies, and they all sort of like
is it
Ryan?
Dave?
It's like sends Ryan Gosling over.
Is it Dave?
Could be Dave. I'm so sorry.
I think it's Christopher Abbott is the actor. I think he's the one that they're all like hanging out, and that's when like they find out that Jason Clarke's going to be on Apollo.
Yeah, right. Either way, I really liked him. But yeah, I think that the first, I think I said this to you after we saw the movie. The first like maybe half, maybe like
David.
David, right? 2/3 of the movie felt really rushed.
Yeah,
they were like, let's get through all this preliminary
that was something we didn't really talk about.
Let's get through it. Let's go. And then they got to like where he's gonna be on the Apollo team,
and then
they're like, all right, let's draw this out, because they took their sweet ass time getting through that part.
I didn't realize this movie was only like 2 hours and 20 minutes. It feels way longer.
Fuck me. And at one point I was like, there was a girl in front of me And I kept thinking, holy shit, I think it's like, because we saw the movie 6:40 was our start time, so trailers and stuff probably started at 7. There was a point where I went, it's easily 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And a girl in front of me took out her phone just to look at the time, which is fine. She like looked at the time and it said like 9.
Yeah.
And I went, holy shit, this movie is long.
Yeah. This is one of the other things is that there's so many like weird spots in it where you're going, this is what they kept in. Like,
yeah.
Over what?
There seems to be a lot of like B-roll stuff.
A lot.
Like there's parts where like Ryan Gosling's like making people laugh, and they went, "Yeah, I'll leave that in."
There's
like he makes Claire Foy laugh, who doesn't laugh through the entire movie. In fact, she's very serious through the entire movie.
Yeah,
and then
when
she
he
just
was like making the kids stand in a corner.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, that's so uncharacteristic. Like I know what you're going for, but it doesn't fit the character. Yeah. Like she seems very high strung because like at a point she's
high strung because of him though.
Exactly, and
you get that, but you get that because of how she plays that character. Yeah. You don't get any of the stuff from him.
No, but
you don't know why he acts the way that he does.
And you don't know why that kind of affects her.
It alludes to what's her face Karen dying.
Yeah. But
he almost seems like he's like, you don't get enough of what he's like before that to say that that's different.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, it shows her laughing, but it's like, well, that's not, so far, that's not what we've learned that he's like and that she's like. He seems to be like, he loves his family, but then he seems to like also not want to be around them at all. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Okay, so what would you give it?
Okay, so I think 4 out of 7 is a little, that's close, I think, but I don't know, maybe like 4.5 out of 5, or 4.5 out of 7.
4.5 out of 5.
Maybe 5, because like a lot of the technical stuff I really really liked.
Yeah. The
stuff where they're like in that weird the test rover, where he's like flying around with it. That was such a cool scene. And then he like ejects out of it, and then he gets all cut up.
I actually thought that was a weird scene because it didn't seem super real. Like
all
it jumps ahead so far.
Yeah, all of a sudden it comes out of nowhere, and it's like he's like driving this thing. But I did actually really like that scene, and I really liked like them sitting, the guys who died, like them sitting in the shuttle, and then he like takes off his mask, and it's like the oxygen that gets out is the thing that caused. I think I just
they oxygenate they like pump oxygen.
Oh right, okay. And then it was like the spark, but like them sitting in there and like talking to the other guys, like I really liked a lot of those scenes.
Yeah. But
then it just seemed like there was really no story, or there was a story, but there was no depth to the story.
Yeah.
Like there was absolutely no B
story. It was like somebody had described what had happened and like in a like Spark Notes type thing. Yeah. And that's exactly what they used.
Here's what you should probably include.
He goes this, his daughter dies.
Right.
His
pretty
buddies
much motivates
blow
him
up.
to do everything.
Yeah, it's like really basic stuff.
But there was really no B story. No. I don't think anyway.
Maybe his relationship with Claire Foy.
Yeah, and maybe even Claire Foy like trying to help out the other wife.
That never resolved.
But that never resolved. That she was like
Jason
she went
Clarke
to go help
dies,
him.
And then
and then she like
she goes and like helps, and that's it.
She sees her standing out there, and she goes like, I'll go. Let's go inside.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it jumps to like him coming home or something. I don't know, but like that never resolves.
No.
Really, this movie was kind of messy.
Yeah.
It just felt like it was edited, like Damien Chazelle going like, "No, I'll get away with it."
I think that's exactly it.
Yeah. I would definitely put this as the worst of his movies so far. Whiplash, I think, is unbelievable. La La Land, I actually really liked. But this just, I was expecting it to be better, and it really wasn't.
This one is not.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, maybe like 4 out of 7. I think, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there anything else you want to say for it? Yeah, so that's been first watch, first listen of First Man, starring Ryan Gosling and a whole bunch of other people, directed by and written.
Starring Jason Clarke and Claire Foy.
directed by Damien Chazelle, written by Josh Singer. If you want to email us, our email is twinspeakspod@gmail.com. You can get us on Twitter at @twinspeaks_. We just put up TeePublic. If you've made it this far, which I doubt anybody has, you can get one of our t-shirts. It's got a little logo on the front and then one on the back, and there's baseball t-shirts and stuff and stickers. So if you want those, you can get on there.
I don't get any of these.
It's just TeePublic /user/twinspeakspod.
Cool. That's it.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.